If I could speak to myself as when I was a teenager, I would have said the following things. Because teenage years can be a place where you ask yourself a lot of questions and you wonder what is the right way to move forward, and there's not a lot of guidance. Not a lot of guidance, and if there is, the guidance that exists doesn't really have a lot of foundation. It doesn't really represent um, a source where you feel like you can rely on. And because of that, I felt like I couldn't find somebody that made sense in a way where I could take the advice and apply it to my life. So when what I did was trial and error, and it takes a long time, and it caused a lot of confusion along the way, and it takes a lot of willpower to be able to repeatedly do and do and do again, and get up and try again on every field. And what I would have said was that really at the end it's about being able to find a sense of self and to protect it. And I would have said that you're gonna have events and things in your life which happen, and you're gonna have your own thoughts and your own person to deal with, and everything that is around you really in the end is only a reflection of the things that you got going on inside. And that life is going to test you, people are going to test you, and the test is about, can the negative win against the positive? And because the positive builds, the positive thoughts, the positive actions, the positive intentions, they build you as a character, and in the end they also build the concepts and the things around you, right? When you build, you add something. And when people build buildings, people build they build houses, they build relationships, they actually build the communities which they live within. And really that's what we all search for, is a sense of community, a sense of collective, something which we are a part of. And that can be found within just being a self, and that community needs a sort of center. And that if you just go and within yourself are able to find that, you can be the center of that community which you search for. And you can just go and not wait for somebody else to do the work which you are trying to find. The work which you know would create a world around you which you would like to be a part of. And that in reality, even though people give you less than what you give them, that you're actually, by giving, also creating a world where what you give exists. That if you want to live in a world where love exists and that you're the one who gives it, you're actually living in a world now, even though you're the one giving it, where love exists. So even if you give more than people give you, you're actually winning in the end. Because through all that action, at some point people can't keep up with your work ethic and what that creates, and your consistency and the amount of which you give. People can't keep up with that, and what that will do is that it will create a world where you can overcome and take over things around you, and you can just go and not be worried about what you get out of people, because by giving in itself, you're actually able to experience everything you want to experience. And so in reality, it's what you kept hearing about expecting less is actually true, is that you shouldn't expect anything from people, because that's not the reason why you do it. And that is a logical answer. This is a logical explanation as for that. You don't expect out of people, even though you feel like logically you should. You should, because you're going to look for somebody to take care of you. But in reality, you don't need anybody to. Because this whole idea of you is a blurry concept. But if you look at it as this question of perspective, if you look at it as a sense of an idea of what the world you should be like and the world should be like, then you actually understand that it's a question of perspective, and that's what you actually need to be taking care of. That perspective on life, and that perspective of the things around you. Really, when you start to look for somebody to take care of you, what you're doing is that you're actually being so caught up into thinking about yourself. And even though it seems like a logic thing to do, is actually wrong. is actually the thing which will create more pain than anything in life, because you're looking at it from a flawed point of view, and that there is a better way to go about this, and that, you know, this whole giving and taking stuff isn't like the same way we go about money. It's actually kind of the opposite. Money you want to take and have and have and have and let go a little bit, but in life, and when it comes to energy or character, whatever you want to call it, it's actually to give and take just a little bit, because the more you take, the more the less pleasant it is, right? And the more it kind of ruins. And so if you want to establish a way to go about every day and being in a better state, what you can do is actually wake up early and give yourself the time and the attention to be able to understand when is it that you can look for things which make you have a clearer sense of self, and to give all that, to give yourself in the morning, in that first instance of your day, that much attention and time will be able to last you for the rest of the day, and you can just go one day at a time. And by having that clarity and having that selfishness happening in the morning, you're free for the rest of the day. And then you can have a workout routine, something which will allow you to have some type of resistance, something which your perspective can fight against, to not wait for life to hit, but to prepare, so that when life tests you or people test you, you don't cave into negative thoughts, because negative thoughts can lead you to take negative actions against you or against other people. And so, to come back to the first things which we were talking about, those actual actions that you take or that other people take that threaten your sense of self, actually also threaten your sense of reality, and that can spiral into ways which you don't understand right now, and that there is no bottom. There's nowhere where this stops. It will just keep going until there's nothing left, and that's a dangerous game to play. And pretty much, since there's no bottom, reality kind of just turns and it flies. It just is, kind of like the planets are in a void, right? And it works within itself. It just connected one thing to another. Nothing actually exists by itself. And when you look at it like that, you stop looking for the bottom. You stop looking for, where does it start? Where does, where to make sure it's not like what you see here. There's the ground which you stand on is the ground which is constantly moving, and that movement is necessary for you to actually be. To be is actually work. To be is a dynamic state, and you gotta constantly be at work all the time that you're awake, and work happens in different ways, right? And I know there's a lot to take in here, but that's the reality of it. And that if you want things to change in life, you have to find friction within your day, and by finding friction, you can create movement. And you won't find it by trying to look at the exterior. It's friction from within, and if you don't find friction, then what you're doing is pointless. You're moving in. It's within nothing. You're not really advancing them. So yeah, anything that triggers your or that threaten your sense of self and your integrity, whether it comes from you or other people, is bad. Then it's actually what will create harm in your life, and it's not about you. It's actually about keeping that stability. So I hope that helps, and I hope that it makes sense.